Hey guys, I'm just here bringing you my Batteryman deck profile. I know it's kind of a budget deck, but I really don't have too much money to spend, so I try to make budget decks as much as I can. It's strongly based around the OTK, but it doesn't. You don't have to play it that way. I mean, I try to do as much as possible, of course. And if you think of any ways to make it better, I know I'm trying to make it better myself. Just hit me up in the comments and I'll help you. Keep in mind, I have some holders in here because this is the newest deck I'm building, and there's still a couple cards that I'm missing. So first off, I start out with three Batteryman AAs. Pretty much again the basics of OTK. I think in this deck particularly, I can get it out pretty easily, and it just gives me 3,000 beaters, which is pretty great. Three Batteryman Microcell. I really don't know a Batteryman deck that wouldn't run this. You could special summon a Batteryman when you flip it, so usually I just place it face down and let them attack it. But then when it dies, you get to draw a card, so I think it's pretty good draw power. Uh, three Batteryman Charger. You could special summon a Batteryman from your deck, which is really great. If you have one on the field, you can chain it with Inferno or something. And it gets 300 attack for each Thunder type, including itself, so it starts out at 2100, which is pretty good. Two Batteryman Fuel Cell. I think maybe I'll change this to three, but I think the tribute monsters in my deck are fine because, of course, you don't want to run too many tributes. You can destroy a Batteryman monster to destroy or send an opponent's card in the field back to their hand, which it's useful every once in a while. It's of course not anything great, but just the ability to special summon it I think is pretty good. Two Batteryman D. I usually it's kind of bad when you draw into it sometimes, but I usually just use Microcell to summon it. It's good because it's 1900 defense, and if they don't have a creature strong enough to get over it, then you can just stop their attack, really, if you special summon it with Microcell's effect. Two Thunder King Ryo. I actually just changed it down to two because the new format coming out in 5 or 6 days sends them down to two. But I was running three before because they're just really good. Two Raimei. This card was one of the tougher decisions for the deck for me because I get to add Batteryman to my hand, but when I draw it, it's just kind of like put it face down and let it die, which can be kind of annoying if they use like Grand Mole or something to bring it back to your hand. One Guardian of the Order. It's a pretty good beast at 2500, and the main reason I run it here is that you get a lot of light monsters out. And so if you have this in your hand, you can just special summon it if you have Light Monster. I only run one because its second effect, you can only have one at a time. In place of the third Thunder King, I put in the Calculator. Kind of a tough choice, really. But I think it's just really good because, you could help it bring out Guardian of Order. Or if you're just doing really well with your Batterymen, it just lets you keep up the power, really. One Honest, pretty self-explanatory. It just gives your creatures a fighting chance if you don't have anything else. Okay, now on to spells. I run three Short Circuit. I've seen some decks run it at two. I honestly love three, just because if it's part of the OTK, I think you should try to draw it as early as possible. I've never actually drawn all three in my hand, which is good. And most of the time it's just you play Short Circuit and then you can attack for win. Here's what some people don't really like this, but I really do. I run three Inferno Reckless. A lot of people run two. A lot of people don't run it at all. I just think it's really good because there's a lot of cards that let you revive Batterymen. Or not a lot, but there's a couple. And also Microcell lets you summon them from your deck and things like that. I run two Battery Charger. I was thinking of replacing one of these with Monster Reborn. Decided not to because well, it's not very common. Some people can, take spell effects, and so this one only really works on Batterymen, so for them it's really not that useful, and it's only 500 life points, so I decided if it duel gets down to 500 life points, that almost never happens. I run 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. Pretty self-explanatory, just destroys things. 1 Heavy Storm. I'm thinking of switching this out for another MST, just because there's a couple cards that are, really bad if you destroy them, but I guess that's the risk of any deck. 1 Soul Exchange. I really just run 1, because there's a lot of tributes in this deck, but I don't think there's that many that I need 2, and I don't think I can think of any deck that runs 3 besides maybe Monarchs. Onto the traps, I run 3 Portable Battery Pack. Just revives your Batteryman. It's really good if you can bring back AA or Charger or something like that. I run 2 Mirror Force. I think this deck really needs a lot of defending for itself, so I think 2 Mirror Force is pretty good. 2 weird cards. First, I run Metal Reflex Slime. It's really just a good defender, I think, if you run out of creatures. And, you can use it as tribute, so I think that's pretty good. And a card that I honestly think is really good, but people don't really use very often, is Trap Reclamation. You activate it after you chain a trap card, discard 1 card, and whenever that card goes to your grave, you get it back to your hand. And I combo that a lot with Battery Pack, mostly just because I can bring it back to my hand and then keep reviving Batteryman. And last but not least, I will run 1 Deep Prison. Kind of want to run 3 in the current format. Or 2, I mean. But, I only really have enough for 1. I don't have any XYZs, because I don't know. I really think this deck doesn't need them all that much. But I guess if you want to run them, I understand why. I also don't have an extra deck, mostly because I think that extra deck should really just change based on, the locals and the people you're playing against. So that was my Batteryman deck profile. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me how I can make it better, and that's it.